in the Western world as we know it, Europe and Africa, and then the migration and the aggressive conflict over living in what we call the Western world, over across the Atlantic Ocean, and the Pacific is just considered the Far East, in Asia and stuff. But in the Western world, people consider a man named Jesus Christ the greatest teacher of all time. Okay, the greatest teacher of all time. And Jesus Christ never had a coaching contracts, never won any trophies, never took his group of individuals into a town to beat the other town and then signed bigger advertising contracts to sell Gatorade or tennis shoes or automobiles or sandwiches. Okay. When Jesus came to town, he talked about us all living together in peace and not fighting over what we wanted and sharing what we need with kindness and caring and faithful love and courage enough to stand up to the bullies to stop them from putting us into conflict and competition over what they wanted to become great and iconic and have great legacies and big monuments made to their egotistical insanity. Right? Greatest teacher of all time. Okay. Basketball coaches, there's a guy named Mike Krzyzewski who was on the show. He said, what basketball coaches are teachers, right? Apparently most college and professional basketball players suck at teaching. And professional coaches and generals and colonels and joint chiefs of staffs and secretary of defense and presidents and Supreme Court justices, they all suck at teaching, or do they suck at learning? Okay. The greatest teacher of all time, Sermon on the Mount. Okay. The model prayer. How many people that are considered successful Supreme Court justices fighting for equal rights, rights for people of color, rights for gender and children? Give us the Lord's Prayer, which delivers us from debt and trespass and murder over competition, over people wanting to be great and have giant statues erected in their legacy of creating opportunities for that other person to be in that great position, making these great decisions over conflict and philanthropy. Okay, just because they take idolatry and call it philanthropy doesn't mean it's still not idolatry, right? Jesus is the greatest teacher of all time. According to a lot of you that draft your significance and your importance off of Ben and me. Watch that cartoon tonight, Aloysius Mouse or whatever his name was. I started laughing about it. So they sure do make Ben Franklin kind of a cad. It's funny. Watched it when I was a kid. It's not a very impressive document. My dad really likes it. I'm not particularly fond of it at all. I've read it. I can't see how people could read the model prayer and the Sermon on the Mount and then go read the Declaration of Independence and correlate them into the same perception of the same speaker reflecting the author of the other document. Okay. The Sermon on the Mount and the Lord's Prayer reflect nothing at all, even if you've read the Constitution. Constitution is an aggressive land grab document justifying physical conflict and violence to establish perception of ownership of land and property. Okay. 13th Amendment never freed anybody. It just put people in indentured servitude, and you're all still in indentured servitude. Okay. Anybody else want to be a humble teacher like me and King David and King Solomon? Or do you want to keep trying to make your legacy on your devices, bringing in all that money and then using murders and technology to try to keep you and your money safe? Kind of like a Tracy Chapman song. Right? I'll see you guys. We'll talk in the morning. All right, peace out.